Was completely on the inside, and then he opened a bit the line just to force a bit Berezny being wide, and was the key to maintain the podium position, because it means podium for Tunisia. But look up, it was just unbelievable. 2 seconds in front of everyone.
Yeah, I think this has been one of the strongest performances in the history of F1 Esports here today. Jarno Opmeer out across the line to take victory in Hockenheim. Great race from Opmeer, Tormala second, Tunisia extends his championship lead with a third-place finish, just holding off Daniel Berezny in fourth, Freddie Rasmussen completing the top 5, Huis, Holtzman, Keeper and Biancolila completing the top 7. What an entertaining race that was. Hockenheim always provides some great racing, but it was that strategy from Jarno Opmeer in that first stint as well.
It was inspired. It all came from actually the starting tyres. Starting on the medium meant he could go long, could switch to the soft at the end, which no one else could. Good incisive overtaking, but there was not much they could do. Do
you think that's going to change anyone else's approach going forward? Now they've seen you can start on the harder tyre and win the race.
Probably yes, but you need to have this pure talent, because in terms of speed, this match today was just unbelievable. So I think that to do the stuff that Opmeer did today, you need to have the good strategy, but then the skills about speed.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's go and hear from Jarno Opmeer, the race winner in Hockenheim, and he is talking to Rosanna Tennant.
And with Jarno Opmeer, congratulations, your first ever win.
Yeah, thank you. It was perfect, just perfect qualifying and then perfect strategy executed.
You had the best strategy there, the soft tyre at the end, but a superb drive as well. Tell me how it felt out there.
Yeah, when I was on lap 10, 11, I was not sure if it was going to be the right strategy, but then I came out of the pits and I rejoined in P3 or P4. So then straight away I knew I was going to have a huge pace advantage for the next 5 laps. Yeah, I made the right moves, the right moment, and then it was, well, the last overtake was quite easy, so yeah.
Yoni, bad luck. You look disappointed. Is that how you're feeling?
Yeah, I'm disappointed. I thought I won the race already in the beginning when I pulled like almost a 3-second gap, but in the end I couldn't do anything because Jarno had soft tires and I was with mediums, but still really good points for the team and we should be leading the championship by more now.
And just a quick word on your moustache. Is this for Movember?
Yes and no. It's kind of a bet. I'm going to shave it off when I win a race, and it wasn't just time, so...
You can put the razor back for now. Perhaps a bit later on you can get it out.
Maybe. Let's see.
Now, I hope that Joni Tormala wins a race before F1 2020, but otherwise he'll be a very, very hairy man. Let's talk about a couple of highlights from this race. This one is cheeky as anything. Tunisia sees these two racing very hard indeed and just goes up the inside, has a double overtake, beautiful move into the hairpin, puts him in a net P2, I think, at the time. This is now on board with Berezny. A beautiful move up the inside, to be fair, but you can see just about there. Oh, that's we'll do a little circle like that. Beautiful. The front right locks up just slightly, washes him out, and therefore he can then not make the corner. He actually does pass Rasmussen, but then loses the position to Tunisia, so it kind of neutralises itself out. And then Opmeer. I mean, he had an absolutely fantastic race. He started on the mediums. His pace on the mediums, I think, was more impressive than the softs, to be honest, because he managed to stay in contention the entire race. His mediums pace was unbelievable. He pulled away from the rest of the field. He had 3 seconds at least to the next medium runner. And, well, I mean, it was a completely faultless drive from him. And then, you know, he came out the pits here on the soft tyres. And a lot of these guys, you know, they might have pace, but they can't make the move stick. He absolutely made it stick from the get-go, pretty much. He got past Berezny pretty much straight away. What a beautiful move this is into the hairpin. He then dispatches Tunisia as well, and then finally catches Tormala with a couple of laps to go. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. What a great first win for Jarno Opmeer.
Indeed. And Matt, you said you didn't brought your own toy. You've got the touchscreen. That's your toy, of course. Excellent work there from Matt Gallagher breaking down the race. Joining me right now down here is Jenny Palmer. Let's have a look at the race results before we break it down a little bit. But as Matt said, fantastic race from Jarno Opmeer. As Jack Nichols said, one of the strongest performances in F1 Esports.
Yeah, hard to disagree, really. Over 2 seconds to the win, and we've seen so many races that are just nip and tuck all the way to the last corner. That one, it looked like it was Joni Tommela's easy win until the late pit stop, the charge on the soft tyres, easy peasy, and good bit of racing from him.
Indeed, and there's the Drivers' Championship. So the points difference now, Fredrik Rasmussen 102, but still out there in the top. David Tunisa, there was some lovely manoeuvring for a hairpin. You said both him and Berezny had gone walkies. Tunisa came round. You said that was where some of the action was going to be happening, but fantastic race from him as well. But Joni Tommela, what a strong start from him. Got the tactics. He went with the medium tyres to begin with, but a great start from him.
Yeah, that was crucial to his race, really. Straight on the inside. He was on the soft, which helped him just get that brilliant start against Opmeer, and then crucially broke the DRS. So that meant that everyone else was left scrapping around, losing time. Tommela just chilling out front. I'm sure he wasn't actually chilling, but he had a nice 2-second gap and could just manage it. He said it himself. He thought he was going to win it after that start, but he couldn't.
He did indeed. Now, obviously, if you're playing the F1 2019 game, you've got Jeff on the team radio. There was one moment where Joni Tommela was like, there's nothing I can do, and you guys agreed. However, Jan Opmeer, fantastic from him. Great strategy. What's the difference between that soft? He started with the soft, medium tyres and then went to soft. It sort of worked for him in that sense, didn't it?
Yeah, it meant that he was always going to go longer in the race. So he actually had less grip at the start. He lost a place, was struggling a little bit with Tunitsa as well. Put a beautiful move, that Ricciardo-style dummy. But it was difficult for him early on the medium. But that meant he got the payback later on, pitted later, went for the soft tyres, they're quicker, and he made mincemeat of everyone once he put them on. So quick, no one could defend. And the first bit of the race was maybe quite tough, but the second bit, super easy.
Yeah, there's a man just behind me, so I'm going to talk quite quietly. I'm going to want to talk about Brendan Lee. Struggling a little bit. Current champ, as it still stands. We know what he can do, but it just hasn't been going right for him. Rubbing the eyes, it just seems a bit perplexed. And what happens here?
Well, this is early on, and he's just caught himself out, really, on the back of Salton, that is. And, yeah, scrappy stuff. The whole season hasn't really gone his way. There's been flashes where you think, now he's going to come to the fore. Remember the Canada race, and he was sort of getting there, not quite. That was another one where...
Yeah, and he got a penalty for that. But obviously we know the ability he has, so you can't write any of these drivers off. You know, maybe, look, that race there, Hockenheim, we move on to the next one, Spa. That's when we expect to see Brendan at any point.
Yeah, and they're all so close. This is what we shouldn't forget. We're seeing Tunitsa, Rasmussen generally consistently at the front. And that's brilliant when hundredths make a difference. And the same thing, Brendan Lee might qualify 18th. He might qualify the next one on pole. It's just so close. Spa's another circuit you can overtake on. It was on the calendar last year. He was quick there as well. So you never know. Let's watch this space.
And also, credit to you as well for getting up and down to the casting, back down here.
Quick as a flash.
Epic work. Epic work, quick as a flash. There you go then, an action-packed start to the show and another new race winner for the 2019 Pro Series. But no time to dwell on that as we're heading to Spa after the break.
No idea.
Pasta.
Pizza. Pizza.
Pizza. Restaurant. Eat out.
Eat out.
Takeaway.
Takeaway? That would be a good movie. Takeaway.
Hotel.
Takeaway.
Eat out.
Takeaway. Hidden talents. I have a lot of talents probably, but I don't know. I'm not sure. Do I have hidden talents? Win a race.
I would rather win the race, definitely, because that's the main thing for the championship.
I don't know.
Win a race. Win the race.
Win the race. I don't really do much karaoke.
I've never done karaoke.
The Greatest Showman.
Eye of the Tiger, Rocky.
Karaoke song. I never listen to karaoke songs, or I don't know what it is.
Don't have one.
I don't know.
Kimi Raikkonen's is Proud Mary by Tina Turner.
My favorite karaoke song? I never did karaoke in my life.
Oh, God. Does this count?
Right Right then, Hockenheim was our first race, and it was a real battle at the front of the grid, with the lead changing multiple times throughout the race. But in the end, it was Renault's Jarno Opmeer who took the checkered flag and claimed his first win in the Pro Series. Epic work from him. Now, the action keeps coming thick and fast as we turn our attention to the fantastic Spa-Francorchamps. Rosanna, I believe you're joined by someone who has raced this great circuit.
Certainly am, Tom. I'm with Zach Brown, CEO of McLaren Racing. Zach, you've raced around Spa-Francorchamps.
Yeah, it's a fantastic circuit. So looking forward to seeing everyone have a go.
Any tips for the guys out there?
Well, I think they know what they're doing. Obviously, Eau Rouge is flat on your first lap, but I'm sure they figured that out. And, you know, it's a great track, flowing track. And, yeah, looking forward to seeing them all race.
And what do you make of the F1 Esports series? This is your first time visiting.
It is my first time here. I think it's great. McLaren was the first Formula One team to launch their own esports program. I think it now puts steering wheels in the hands of young men and women around the world. So I think it is a great way to get people exposed to our great sport in a less expensive way than what historically has been go-karting, which not everyone can afford. And, you know, the simulation is very real. So our experience with our drivers is they're great in the simulator, and we've seen that translate to on the track. So I think it's come a long way from when I started, which it was a video game, to now it's real simulation, and very valuable for a Formula One team.
So you could see a future where some of these guys behind us could be racing on a track in a Formula One calendar?
Yeah, I have no doubt about it. You know, Lando Norris lives on his esports, and that's what he pretty much does every weekend if he's not in a Grand Prix car. And the drivers that race against him are very competitive, so I have no doubt esports will have a Formula One driver that started in esports at some point.
Zach, great to see you. And have you seen Lando Norris yet, Tom? I'm not sure if he's here. Sometimes he sneaks in.
Sometimes he does, Rosanna, but hang on.
It's Francorchamps.
Francorchamps.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Francorchamps.
Okay, I'll just say Spa. Listen, let's look at race 2 then and look at the grid. Matt, when you look at that grid, who do you think sort of stands out at the moment? Who's got it in the bag? Who do you like the look of?
Well, Spa is a very, very important qualifying session, and although you don't actually want to be on first position, you want to be in the top sort of 3 or 4 because you're going to get some serious slipstream. Danny Beresnay up at the front with Rasmussen. I mean, up there once again. Jarno Opmeer, our race winner, in 3rd. Daniel Haddad up in 4th as well. So these guys, you can see, it's 3/10 separating the top 8. It's very, very close.
Yeah, and you said about not wanting to be first. Daniel Beresny has the most amount of poles now in the history of F1 Pro Series Esports. So fantastic work from him. So I think Brendan Lee has 4. Daniel Beresny knows he's got that calibre, got those 5. But down there at the bottom, the Haas, at least they're not 19th or 20th in this race on qualifiers.
Exactly, and 6/10 separating the top 20. And the reason you don't want to start in first position is because of the slipstream. Going down the Kemmel Straight, you want to be behind a couple of cars, get in that speed, and then hopefully taking the lead.
Yeah, OK. Spa-Francorchamps, I'll throw up now. I think I'm getting it there. Listen, I'm going to throw up to Jack Nicholls, to Julian Palmer, and, of course, Davide Rosecchi.
Thank you very much, Tom. Do you know, have you been to a Spa?
I've been to a Spa, but not the Spa we're talking about.
But you know that Spas are named after Spa?
Sure.
That's an absolute fact.
Oh.
That's a genuine fact. I don't know why people don't believe me. It's an actual fact.
I'll take it on board.
I think it's one of the best facts there is.
No, I've heard you say it about 1 million times, but every time there's anything to do with Spa, that one comes out. It's still a good fact, it's all right.
Blows my mind. One of the best racing circuits, though, in the world. Do you love it, Davide?
Yeah, more or less everyone loves it because it's just the history of the sport, and it's a fantastic track just to drive. Unbelievable emotional. This fast sector is something unbelievable to drive.
Julian, let's take a look at it.
Yeah, great Spa and a great track as well. The main thing, I think, is overtaking, and it was touched upon earlier. The first corner is really tight, high chance of a bit of collision there. But then there's a huge long run, flat out through Eau Rouge, up to turn 5, 6, 7, Les Combes. And there, overtaking is not too hard. DRS as well, but slipstreaming, drafting on the first, that's going to be critical. And again, at the end of the lap, 15, all the way down to 18, flat out. Another good chance to overtake.
And as far as the championship is concerned, this is a really good opportunity for Freddie Rasmussen, starting in 2nd, to claim back some points against David Tonitzer in 5th. So let's go to the start of the Grand Prix in Belgium. Pole position is Daniel Beresnay. Freddie Rasmussen alongside him on the front row. All 5 lights are on. We're racing in Spa. Good getaway from Berezhny. He's going to hold the lead as they come into the hairpin right-hander at La Source, and there goes Otmir. Immediately up the inside of the Red Bull. He can't quite get the job done. Now the run down towards Eau Rouge, and then up to Radion, actually, as Matt Gallagher never gets bored of telling you. And then out onto the long Kemmel Straight. Haddad's made a decent getaway. He's there in 4th place. But here comes the attack from Freddie Rasmussen. Side by side, down towards Lake Com. Rasmussen's got the inside of the Red Bull. It's always going to be 3 wide, with Jarno Otmir involved in the fight as well. Berezhny holds the lead. No! Through goes Freddie Rasmussen, and there goes Daniele Haddad up into 2nd place. They have a bit of contact, a bit of a slide, and that allows Tonitsa to the inside. But Freddie Rasmussen gets the lead of the race away after a frantic run up towards Lake Com.
Berezhny tried to maintain the position. Oh, check it out!
Haddad in the wall, and as Jarno Otmir tries to get through, and now into Pouon. That's not really an overtaking opportunity. Tonitsa's having to defend from Bono Huijsen, the McLaren behind. There's a yellow flag out there. I think Jan Feller has come into trouble. He's dropped right to the back of the order.
I think Haddad's car might be made of steel. He's already hit Berezhny at the top of the hill. Now he's actually hit the wall, and he's still going in 4th place, so he's got away with 2 there. And somehow, he's under big pressure now, though. Tonitsa, championship leader, right on his tail. And at the front, Berezhny losing the lead then at the start. He was so close to keeping it, just went in a bit deep. Rasmussen stuck through.
Now, Jarno Otmir has pulled his let's start on a medium tyre rabbit out of the hat, but so has David Tonitsa. David Tonitsa in 5th place, also starting on the medium compound tyre. I guess when you're starting a little further down, you can afford to take the risk a little bit. Across the line comes Rasmussen, just 4/10 ahead of Daniel Berezhny, who we're on board with now. Then Jarno Otmir in 3rd position in the Renault, the first runner on the medium compound. There is Daniel Berezhny in the bottom left of the screen. 2 wins in his F1 Esports career, but none this season for Alfa Romeo.
Fantastic exit on Rouge, because believe me, not easy at all to be flat behind the car in that corner. Look, yes, immediately they try to overtake him. He's going to have it on the inside.
Berezhny into the lead then for Alfa Romeo. Nice move up the inside into Lake Com. Daniele Haddad still in 3rd, well, has got into 3rd place, then ahead of Jarno Otmir. So good work from the Racing Point driver as they drop down the hill into the long right-hander of Rivage, then the flick left at Speaker's Corner, and down towards Pouon once more. These top 2 really pulling away.
But if we thought the DRS of the slipstream was going to be important for the last race at Hockenheim, it's going to be even more here. Those 2 long straights. And actually, Rasmussen, he didn't bother defending that one. Yeah. He knew that he was going to be a sitting duck either way for Berezhny, and now he's the one 3/10 away. He'll surely have the run next lap, and he'll have DRS for good measure as well.
And they are 2 seconds clear of the 27-year-old Italian Daniele Haddad, running in 3rd position. We go on board with Rasmussen, half a second away from Berezhny. He'll come and close in on Berezhny as they come into the flat-out left-hander at Blanchimont, which is this left-hander here. Then down towards the bus stop chicane. No longer the shape of a bus stop, but still the name. He's super late on the brakes, really closes into the Alpha, but not close enough. Huijs has got past Tonitsa then, Tonitsa's back past Huijs, so those 2 having a right old fight for 5th position.
And if these front 2 are clever, they just won't fight each other at all. DRS enabled now, he's so close, Rasmussen, to the back of Berezhny, but Berezhny shouldn't defend this, because if they work together, they can actually just check out from Haddad. Haddad's got a load of cars behind him, including Otmir, Tonitsa, really quick drivers, but he might try and defend. That'll just play right into the hands of the top 2. Here we go again.
So Rasmussen goes past Berezhny and back into the lead of the race. Berezhny then tucks back into the slipstream, and the 2 continue to pull clear. But how long do you work together for? Like, at what point do you make the decision that actually I'm going to fight?
Till 2 laps to the end. Then you want to win. No helps to no one else, and just focus on the victory. Will be extremely important for them. Try to open the gap still a bit more just before the pit stop. So we are lap 3 out of 11. Important to reach at least lap 5, so you can have, with the medium compound, a very long stint, but with not degradation and using too much the tires. Extremely important for them.
Rasmussen's had a good lap here. He's up to half a second clear, 2.6 ahead of Haddad. Now, I think the way it's going, you don't want to be leading onto the last lap, do you? Because that DRS is just so powerful, up out of Eau Rouge and on the Kemmel Straight. you might just be leading on the last lap, feeling all happy and smug, thinking you're going to win it, and then someone just breezes past. So there's a lot of tactics at play in this one, and right now the top two working pretty nicely with each other.
Lap 3 of 11, shorter race distance in terms of laps, but that's because it's a much longer circuit at Spa-Francorchamps. And now Bono Huis is right behind David Tonitza, just behind these guys. The McLaren driver, does he get the inside? He goes to the outside of the chicane. Nicely done from the Dutchman. And Tonitza pits at the same time, doesn't he? So David Tonitza coming into the pits, having started, I thought, on the medium compounded tyre. So that's quite early.
Yeah, you were right. You're right. Seems that maybe he was not comfortable with the car, and maybe he was struggling with the setup. He just decided he lost the extra performance of the medium compound and changed the tires. But look, now Beresny is coming back. Have the stream, and now he's trying to take the position from the inside. Yeah, it was easy. Just fantastic Beresny. Like you said, Palmer. Up, once per lap, and they made the difference.
Yeah, I think you said it a bit better than me there, but they've now got about 3 seconds to the car in third. They're dropping away in third, and this battle at the front is not really a battle. They are just working together, and look, you can't even see now. Otmir's passed Haddad on that medium tyre. He might be a factor later on, as he was in the earlier race, but right now they're dropping away.
So Daniel Beresny leading by 0.3 of a second against Freddie Rasmussen, but these two are checking out at the front. Jarno Otmir running in third place, 3 seconds back, but on the medium compound of tyre, which, as Jolien said, worked so well for him last time out at Hockenheim. Daniele Haddad is in 4th position, 0.7 back from Otmir. He's going to be under pressure from Bono Huis before too long, as we go on board with Freddie Rasmussen now. Lap 4 of 11, and he'll close back in, coming towards Blanchimont and the chicane. But when are these soft tyres going to need to pit? That's going to be an interesting question. Are either of them going to come in this time around? Beresny doesn't, and nor does Rasmussen.
Tonitza could be in trouble. The way he pitted so early from the medium tyre, he's going to hope that these soft tyres just go on and don't really lose performance. But he's down in 12th place now on the soft tyre. That's is a bold strategy for the championship leader. This one could be difficult with Rasmussen, his main rival, still in that lead fight, and surely about to do that switcheroo at the front.
Also because the track is hard with the tires, not only with the rear tires, but also with the front. You start to suffer a lot with understeering usually when you go into the race with the same compound. So not an easy challenge for Tonitza, that he needed to drive very well to try to recover position.
So many fast corners here. That's why the tyres struggle, particularly the front end, as you say, Davide. And it's actually is a difficult one for the tyres because of the nature of the corners. This one's a slow one that they're in. They didn't actually swap the places this lap, Beresny and Rasmussen, but look how close they are. And then look how fast these corners are coming up. They really hurt the tyre. And if you're on the soft, the degradation should be on the high side.
But we're on lap 5 of 11. So we're approaching half race distance on the soft compounded tyre, but Tonitza's got a long way to go on his soft, a lot further than half race distance. So fascinated to see what happens to the championship leader, especially as his rival Freddie Rasmussen is battling for the lead of the race. There is Daniele Haddad running in 4th position. Bono Huis in 5th, Tino Raukorinen and Alvaro Caraton in the 2 Williams are in 6th and 7th. And then it's 8th for Sally Sauter, 9th for Joni Tormela, and 10th for Jan Feller. Jan Feller looked to have dropped down the order earlier on. I think he hasn't made his pit stop. That's why he
not
is
yet.
in the
Yeah,
top
you're
10.
right.
Yeah.
Not yet. Look, Tonitza find traffic, so not an easy condition for him. Maybe it's time to stop for the driver that uses soft compound, but not yet. Seems that the top two they're still racing without having pit stop.
Yeah, they're going a really long way into this. There you can see Daniele Haddad in the bottom left. Normally, we see the soft tyre runners pitting at sort of a quarter race distance, where we're going to be past half at the end of this lap.
But look at all those drivers behind Tonitza. They're on the soft tyre as well, so maybe they know something we don't, and the soft tyre actually can go a long way into the race. That's how it seems. And who's pitting there? Saltung and Nakarinen pit. It seems like they think the soft tyre can go, and the leaders are agreeing. Lap 6 is still on them.
Here we go on board with Bono Huis, coming into the right and the left up at Les Combes, then through the right-hander of Malmedy at the top of the hill, then down towards Rivage. And it is Jarno Otmir in 3rd place at the moment, still ahead of Daniele Haddad, still ahead of Bono Huis in the McLaren. Caraton and Tormela and Feller are the last of the top 8 that are... Tormela has pitted, hasn't he? Down in 7th position. as they drop down the hill into the left-hander of Pouon. And Bono Huis looking very, very racy. On board with him now. First ever race I commentated on in my life. Bono Huis won it in 2009, Formula Sim Racing at Suzuka.
Wow.
There you go.
Wow.
And he's won the Vegas E-Race in the past as Bono Huis. A legend of the sport, I would say. 5th place at the moment. Freddie Rasmussen still leading, half a second ahead of Daniel Berezhny.
Seems that the medium compound is not performing because look, Opmeer is still losing lap by lap to the top 2 drivers. And now Rasmussen in the box. First one.
But Berezhny stays out. So Rasmussen into the pits first. Also in comes Jarno Opmeer on the medium tyre. So, I mean, in theory, I suppose he's going to be quicker in the second half of the race. But those mediums didn't last longer than the softs.
It's got a lot of time to make up as well. 4 seconds away from the race lead. Mediums looked all right. They didn't look massively different to the soft, really, but...
I didn't want to pit the same lap as Freddie does because it's risky.
Okay, Berezhny saying, I didn't want to pit the same lap as Freddie does because it's risky, and that will be... He doesn't want to pit and then have to be held in the pit stop while Freddie Rasmussen comes past and have a slower release. So how will that affect Berezhny as he is having to do an extra lap, as ever is Bono Huis and Alvaro Caraton. So Opmeer is ahead of Tourmala then. Opmeer is in a net 2nd position at the moment, probably a net 3rd really, once Daniel Berezhny comes into the pits. Tonitsa is in front of Daniele Haddad. This is Freddie Rasmussen that we're watching now. This is Daniel Berezhny in the lead of the race for the Alfa Romeo team. Where is he going to emerge with regards to Rasmussen, Opmeer and Tourmala in the gang?
Opmeer, Tourmala, Tonitsa are all very close then together for 5th place now. That was the battle for 3rd early on. So Opmeer really is the big winner because he's on a new set of soft tyres again. 4 laps to go. He could be on a charge. But here comes Berezhny, final few corners, and the big battle now is going to be him diving into the pit and Rasmussen, who's just pitted on the medium tyre. Where are they going to come out?
So here they come towards the chicane. Daniel Berezhny raced for Mercedes last year as the teammate to Brendan Lee, ended up at Alfa Romeo for this season. Now into the pit lane. Concentrates, hits the brakes, gets it stopped. And you can see how much he's breathing, Daniel Berezhny. Like how heavily he's breathing. Obviously he's breathing the same amount as we all need to, but how's this pit stop gonna go? Should be a nice 2.5 seconds, no troubles, away he goes. There is Freddie Rasmussen coming up to the source here. I think Rasmussen's gonna have this through the right-hand hairpin, and it's gonna be close, and it is Rasmussen, only just, who's out ahead of Daniel Berezhny, but Berezhny has fresher tyres.
Yeah, but very good outlap for Rasmussen. That he can use the effect of the new tires. I know that they were medium compound, but there is the effect of the new tires, and he just put a fantastic lap time. Now, Berezhny is to recover and try the overtake, but will be not easy.
It's critical that Berezhny just about stayed within DRS range. So he opened up that rear wing flap on that straight. Suddenly, bam, right on the back of Rasmussen for the lead, and with 1 lap fresher tyres. So here we go, the battle for the lead. Opmeer's 3.3 seconds back in on the soft tyre, so he might be able to just bring that gap down because he's shaken off the people behind him now. So he's 3rd, might make this a 3-car race, but right now it's 2, and it's Berezhny on the fresher tyres.
So Rasmussen and Berezhny on the mediums, battling it out for the lead of the race. 3rd is Jarno Opmeer. 4th is this man, David Tonitsa. Now, he's on soft tyres that have been going for a long, long time. And as a result, he's got quite a queue behind him. Bono Huis in the McLaren, Joni Tourmala in the Red Bull, then Daniele Haddad in the Racing Point, Caraton, Naukarinen and Marcel Keeper complete the top 10.
Opmeer's going to catch those leaders. The gap now 2.6 seconds, and just look at it. It's coming down with basically every single corner. It's coming down 1/10. They're coming into the bus stop now, the final corners. And that gap was 4 seconds when he pitted. He's on the faster tyre. The 2 in front are going to start scrapping. Team plays over between them, I think. They want to win. And Opmeer on the fresh tyres is basically having the same race he had last time. Fastest lap this time through. down to 2.4.
Very, very important for Rasmussen this race. He's one of the contenders for the championship. Extremely important for him to try to catch this victory. Look, Beresny, he's not so close. He's going to have the DRS, but probably he's losing a bit of time in the second and in the third one, because look, with the DRS he's gaining, but he started the straight too far away. Important for Beresny to be close to Rasmussen till the last sector. If not, he cannot have the chance to try the attack.
Here we go with Bono Huis in 5th place. The Dutchman from Maastricht flies through the right-hander of Malmedy, and then down towards the hairpin right-hander at Ravage. David Tonitsa still holding on to 4th place at the moment. Freddie Rasmussen would really cut away at David Tonitsa's championship lead. Whether he's 1st or 2nd, it's still going to be a decent chunk of points into the Ferrari driver who's out front in Ferrari's first year of racing in the F1 Esports Pro Series. Lap 9 of 11.
I'm a bit worried for Tonitsa, because he pit so early and he did all his race with the soft compound, so I'm a bit worried about the cliff of the Gyrus, and you know, just behind him he has a Lewis, Tormala, Haddad all together, so not an easy condition for Tonitsa.
That early pit stop still seems really strange, doesn't it? From the medium tyre, the same strategy as Otmar, but Otmar is closing in on the 2 leaders and Tonitsa is going the other way. He's going backwards, quickly towards Huis and Tormala, as you say. And the same starting strategy, but implemented completely differently, and Otmar's one looks a lot better.
Keep an eye out on Marcel Keeper as well. He's in 10th place and right up behind Tino Naukarinen in the Williams. Also, Alvaro Caraton has just got past Daniele Haddad. So that's good work from the Williams driver Caraton, the best place this year of 6th in Azerbaijan. But these are the 2 leaders on the penultimate lap of the race. Freddie Rasmussen bottom left, Daniel Berezne, the Hungarian, bottom right, and now they come up towards Les Combes. I don't really think Berezne's got enough here, has he, to beat Rasmussen?
Seems that he's struggling a bit at the exit of La Source, the first high pin, and you know, probably interaction is losing a bit because Rasmussen take the gap, and every time he's a bit too far to try the attack for Berezny.
Rasmussen's second 2 and second 3 is too good, really, and that's so Berezny's right on his gearbox coming up to Les Combes, end of sector 1, end of the long straight. The rest of the lap, he's just losing a bit of time, and then he needs that DRS just to close the gap rather than trying to make an overtake. So right now, Rasmussen's doing everything right. Otmar in 3rd, I don't think he's going to make it actually, because that progress has been halted at about 2 seconds. So, lap and a half to go, and I think we've got a 2-car race to the win.
On board with the McLaren of Bono Huis. Tonitsa heading through Fania chicane. Got the 2 Williams there behind, with Caraton in 7th, then Haddad in the Racing Point. Sally Souton's having a good race. He's up into 11th place, having started 14th. Might get a little bit of points for the other Alfa Romeo driver, but we're about to start the final lap, and Berezne is closing in here as they come up to the chicane.
Uh-oh for Rasmussen, because this time he's really, really close, just 4/10. He's just got to stay tight now. He'll get DRS over the line. That'll help. This could be an easy one, actually, over the hill. This could be leading on to the last lap. Isn't the way forward.
Oh, he missed it! Rasmussen's gone in too deep, and that allows Berezne up the inside.
It was not voluntary. Was not voluntary, Barmin, because he just missed that corner, believe me. And now he's trying to have the exit that he needed to maintain the position, but will be not so easy because Berezne is too close.
They both wanted the DRS. It was a battle for the DRS, so they wanted to go slow through the first corner. Berezne's got it.
And there goes Berezne, round the outside and into the lead of the race. Berezne into 1st place on the final lap, and is Rasmussen going to have one more shot at getting through into the bus stop? Down into Ravage.
It was Mickey Mouse at turn 1.
So was Rasmussen trying to let Berezne through?
Yeah, Rasmussen was trying to let Berezne through. Berezne didn't want to go through because the DRS detection's just on the exit, and it worked out perfectly for Berezne because he ended up right on Rasmussen's gearbox and with DRS. The dream scenario, he now leads the race. He's got 2 more corners, and then he's got to defend at the bus stop, the final corner of the race.
You said at the start that you don't want to be leading this race going on to the final lap. They took that really literally.
Yeah, no, they literally did. They knew it. It's that DRS is so powerful at the top of Eau Rouge. They don't have it here, but it's still going to be pretty tight.
Here we come then down towards the chicane for the final time. Freddie Rasmussen 3/10 away. Is he going to fancy a lunge coming into the chicane? He's so close. Berezny gets on the brakes, gets it stopped, and it's Daniel Berezny who's going to take the win.
Yes! Yes! Come on! Yes! Come on! Get in there, my boy.
A great fight between Berezny and Rasmussen. Jarno Opmeer finishes in third place. It's fourth for David Tonitsa. He did brilliantly to hold on with those older soft tyres and take a fourth position. But Freddie Rasmussen has really chipped in to the lead now of David Tonitsa at the top of the championship. Well, it was a different strategical race to the one we saw in Hockenheim. That was tyres. This was just car positioning.
It was all teamwork at the start. As Davide said, basically, the last couple of laps, that started to change. Berezny shut the gap. Neither of them wanted to lead on the last lap. One of them had to, and he ended up losing.
Up, 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 up is how you described it, I think.
Yeah, but Rasmussen today was not perfect. You know, last corner before the main straight, he just missed that. I don't know what he thought, but it was wrong. It was wrong, and he lost the race. Berezny was just perfect.
Okay, well, let's go down to Rosanna, who is rounding up the drivers.
Daniel Berezny is back. Danny, how tight was that?
Yeah, it was a pretty close race. Spa-Francorchamps is my well-known favorite track, so I think this was the right place to finally deliver the first victory of the season. I hope I can add one or two or maybe even more. But obviously Freddie and Tonitsa is a big challenge for me. And they are always up there. It's very hard to beat them. Freddie is a lot ahead in the championship too, so it says everything. We played some good strategy in the first few runs. We didn't battle with each other. We could run away, and we kept the battling for the for the last two laps. And my strategy with the slipstream and DRS paid off. I was a bit lucky to be behind in the last lap because to defend in Spa it's nearly impossible. I'm really thankful for the clean racing from Freddie. Hopefully we have nice battles like that in the future.
Well, it was great to watch, Freddie. I thought you almost had the race victory there. It was just that last lap. Was it a concentration thing?
No, if you're in P2 in Spa, you have the advantage because of the long straight. You cannot defend there. I tried to make so that I was P2 getting the DRS, but it didn't work. Danny backed off more than me, so he got the DRS and won the race.
Well, great to talk to you both. Good luck for the next race.
Thank you very much.
Right, let's talk about how these guys were friends at the beginning of the race and then maybe enemies towards the end. This was the first lap, so they weren't particularly helping each other out at all going down the Kemmel Straight for the first time. But after this was where the guys in the commentary mentioned about the fact that they were, as Jack raises a glass, that, you know, they were using the slipstream to pull away, which is what we'll highlight after this. This was very crucial that there was no contact, because if you lose an end plate, you're going to lose a lot of time, especially around Spa. Now, this is where they decide to go hand in hand and start to break away from Opmeer, who was on those medium tyres once again, so he naturally was slower, and therefore it gave a perfect opportunity for Berezny and Rasmussen to pull away. Now, let's talk about maybe when they weren't so much friends, and this was the last lap. Very almost naughty from both of them. So you've got, first of all, you've got, who have you got? You've got the Red Bull going really wide into turn one, trying to give the position to Berezny, but that didn't happen because Berezny, which you'll see in a second from the second angle, actually breaks even further into the corner than you would ever do in a normal racing line ever. Here we go, into turn one. You can see Rasmussen going off to Narnia, and this is where you'll see there, he's hugging that you see the right front, just locking up, even more so when he's out of the corner. He then goes, right, beautiful, the Red Bull is right in front of me. I'm going to follow him all the way up the hill and then overtake him very easily with DRS. So there's a lot of gamesmanship. Will we see more in Monza? I suspect so. It's an absolute slipstream fest.
Thank you very much, Matt. An absolute slipstream fest. And Matt said Daniel Berezny wouldn't want to be in first place from the qualifying going into the race. Must have spurred him on. He got that win. And the good thing is for Daniel Berezny, people may know, he didn't break his brake pedal, which is very important, as he has done already. Were you impressed with his race?
Yeah, really good. The two of them were a class apart, really. Didn't want to be on pole, but he lost the lead, as Matt said. But then neither of them wanted to lead at the last lap. So actually being on pole was good to not lead early on in the race, second at the end. to win on the last lap.
Yeah, indeed. Now let's look at the race results then to bring everybody up to speed with the points, as of course very important when it comes to the Drivers' Championship as well. So Daniel Berezni made that move, you remember, from 2018 from Mercedes over to Alfa Romeo Racing, finally paying off for him. And Fredrik Rasmussen, Mr. Consistent, getting 18 points there. Here come the standings then for the Drivers' Championship. David Tunitsa there, but again now, instead of being 17 points from the last race, it's down to 11 points different between him and Fredrik Rasmussen, and Jarno Opmeer onto 99. If it was cricket, edgy, dangerous, dicey moments. But listen, I want to talk about Jarno Opmeer. Did he pit too late in that race?
Maybe, because the soft tyre looked much better. He actually only finished just about a second away from the win. Another couple of laps on that soft tyre, we could have had a 3-car race. So he basically did the same strategy as one in that race in Hockenheim. Didn't quite pay off that time.
OK, well, listen, Julian, rest up. We've got another race on the way. And as I say, just one left to run this evening, and it is an absolute cracker. After the break, we're heading to arguably the fastest circuit on the F1 calendar, Monza. Now, someone who is going to be particularly excited is Lucas Blakely. Picked up by Racing Point in this year's draft. To watch his full story, go to f1esports.com, because tonight he's about to get his first start in the Pro Series.
This is my first ever cut. Not complete, but it is my very first chassis. Once I was driving, it was just, I just knew immediately that this is what I want to do, this is my passion, this is exactly what I've been watching my whole life, and this is exactly where I want to spend all my time.
Well, we could have gone all the way to the top, along with many of the other boys that were on our team, but unfortunately, disposable cash isn't available nowadays, and money is just everything in motorsport.
F1 Esports came along, I think it was 2017. This could be another way of competing. Not getting picked in 2018, it broke me. I remember the picks going by and your name wasn't getting called, and I went back to my hotel room, and I genuinely think I cried. Right next to it we have the 2019 Pro Draft, and they sort of serve as a reminder of from here to here, the work was put in, and then all of the things changed.
What are you trying to say?
Netflix.
YouTube. I do have account on Netflix. YouTube. Netflix.
Both of them, I can't choose one.
YouTube, because I don't officially own any Netflix. I get it from someone else.
Instagram.
Twitter.
Instagram.
Twitter. Instagram.
My favorite app, Instagram, I think. WhatsApp. So WhatsApp, Instagram, and yeah, more or less them.
Don't have one.
Instagram. Favorite app? The F1 app.
WhatsApp. Okay, we'll go Discord.
Probably WhatsApp, yeah, because I like talking to people.
Probably Twitter.
All-time film?
Star Wars.
Rush, Terminator, and Predator. So both where Arnold Schwarzenegger had the main role.
Change your life with a click.
I don't have one. Can we retake? I don't even know any films.
Alrighty then, welcome back to the F1 Pro Series 2019. Last year's runner-up, Daniel Berezni, was back at the head of the grid, and after a ding-dong battle with Fredrik Rasmussen, he held on to claim his first win of the season. And let me tell you, could see just how much it meant to him when he crossed that line. So here we go then, 2 races down and just 1 to go, and what an iconic track to finish the evening. Charles Leclerc gave Ferrari their first win at Monza since 2010, but it is 43 years and counting since an Italian has taken the checkered flag. Ludovico Scarfiotti winning, of course, in a Ferrari. Now, David Tunitsa has a chance this evening of going some way to easing that burden. Ahead of the race, Rosanna caught up with him and fellow Ferrari Driver Academy member Mick Schumacher.
Mick and David, it's great to spend some time with you and chat to you a little bit about being part of the Ferrari Driver Academy. Mick, you've been part of it for a while. Any tips, any lessons that you could give David about what it's like working with the Ferrari team?
I would say enjoy it. Really, it is nice. You know, we spend a lot of time also with the engineers. We spend a lot of time behind the background, behind the scenes. So I guess yeah, just try and pick up as much as possible there.
And David, it's quite new to you at the moment. What's it been like working with the Prancing Horse? Such an amazing name in motor racing.
Yeah, it's very good because we are representing the same team. We are representing Ferrari Driver Academy, so also we try to help each other. Maybe in the simulator we can train as much as we want, so we can also help the real drivers. Maybe.
Absolutely. What about your sim racing experience, Mick? Have you done any racing?
On the simulator, no. I have to be honest, I haven't. But I do spend a lot of time in the simulator just testing. So it's really just trying to get those references, to experience it before you actually go to the racetrack. That's what we, always target, to be as prepared as possible before we actually drive.
Any tips for David? He's leading the championship at the moment. How do you stay cool under all that intense pressure and scrutiny?
It's important to have good people around you. They will calm you down if you need to, and sometimes it's also good to have your own time. I think that's always very personal. But for me, it was always nice to have my family around. They would give me the strength I would need for the championships.
How are you finding the pressure, David? Because all eyes are on you at the moment.
Yeah, I have a lot of pressure because in the first event I had nothing to lose. Now I'm leading the championship and there's still one event and one race to go. So yeah, I have a lot of pressure. I have also my dad here in the arena, so they are supporting me also from home, my family, so yeah.
And of course, you're about to take on the Monza track. It's your home race. So any tips for David, Mick? You've raced there, of course.
Yeah, for me, it was always really important to get that feeling in the track and in the car. In the simulator, it's a bit more difficult because you only have the visual references. But I would say just enjoy it. It's a really historical track. It's an amazing track to drive on. Very technical, actually. You wouldn't think is a lot of straights and stuff, but the corners that are, like the chicanes and stuff, is difficult to take them right. So I would, keep the minimum speed up, take good exit speed. Should be okay.
David, do you like the track in Monza?
Yeah, of course. It's an Italian track, so I love it.
Well, hopefully we'll see how you get on this evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Rosanna. Great to see David looking so relaxed ahead of this next race. And great to see his teammate being so generous with his advice. But to make sure there is no question of favouritism, let's bring him on stage. Currently writing the next chapter in one of the great racing dynasties. He's already won the European Formula 3 Championship in 2018 and now racing Formula 2. Let's welcome the main man, Mick Schumacher. Here we go. Come and stand next to me, sir. Lovely to have you here, giving us the time to come along here tonight. So we go to Monza. What advice would you give to the drivers on this track?
Keep away from battling, I would say.
Okay.
Battling doesn't help there. If you battle, you lose time. Other than that, really slipstreaming is important there. And have fun.
Oh, perfect. Well, listen, we have to make sure there's no favouritism just to David Tunitsa. Jolene, would you agree with Mick there? Going into this this race on Monza, that's the tactic. Don't be battling.
Yeah, it's kind of actually similar to Spa, where the top two work together to break clear. If they can do that, it's going to be good because it's a slipstream fest. And battling, it's an easy chance to snag a front wing and get clumsy. Keep it neat and tidy.
Yeah, and Matt, just to put you on the spot, who's going to win this race?
Tunitsa.
Okay, fair enough. It's the home territory of Ferrari. Well, listen, Mick, enjoy this race. Sit comfortably for this one. Jolene, you need to go up to the casting. Matt, we need to look at that starting grid. So when we look at it, what do you make of the positions?
Let's take a look, shall we? We have, well, to be fair, you don't actually want to start on pole position here because Monza is so difficult to keep that position when you're going down towards turn one. It is quite a long run. But Danny Beresnay, he's hitting some form at the moment. And Brendan Lee!
What? He's there.
Unbelievable.
Don't write him off.
Front row of the grid, Brendan Lee. This is his opportunity. I'd actually like to see him win. That would be a lovely little story, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and obviously got Isaac Price down there. And also Lucas Blakely. We saw that VT. Make sure you go and watch it in full at F1 Esports ESPNEsports.com. Love the lad from seeing the disappointment of not going through the draft last year. He gets this opportunity. Daniel Shields, all the way from Australia. He gets that opportunity. A bit of pressure on his shoulders right now.
Huge pressure. And look at that, less than 6/10 covering the entire field. That's how closely contested Monza is. It's going to be a slipstream fest. It is going to be so interesting to see how they come out of turn one, but it could get messy.
It is, of course, SSF, Slipstream Fest. Let's go up to the casters then. They're up there. Davide, Jolien, Jack. Are you keeping them in check, Jack?
Keeping who in check? These two?
Yeah.
No. It's like you haven't listened to any of the commentary. No one can keep Davide in check. He's like a wild beast all the time. It's so tiring. Monza, Davide, you like?
Everyone likes it, and the Italian even more. So check it out, Tonizza, because it will be extreme. And you were right. Extremely important, the exit of Parabolica, because it looks easy, but it's not easy at all. One of the most famous corner in the world.
Well, here's a look at it. You can see it's punctuated by 3 chicanes, but those big long straights are iconic, Jolien.
Yep, and again, great overtaking opportunities. Big braking zone, so if anyone's really good on the brakes, it's going to pay back. So yeah, if Beresney's smashing his brake pedal, this one's going to really catch him out, I think.
Yeah, he really struggled in the first race weekend, battering his brake pedal, and that cost him a couple of places. But alas, he'll be hoping not to do that. And as they say, Brendan Lee, second on the grid. He hasn't won a race since last season. He hasn't won a race this year, and he's the 2-time defending champion. That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right. Why he was not here was fantastic last season, and now we need him to come back. So I hope to see a fantastic race from him, because he deserves it. He's a great champion.
We've also got Nicolas Longuet starting in 3rd place. It's his first race for the Red Bull team, the 17-year-old French driver. There is Brendan Lee that we're seeing down there, and there is Longuet, who's starting in 3rd place on the grid. As I say, his first race, so no Joni Tormola in this one for the Red Bull. Merci for the thumbs up, appreciate that. Hopefully we don't go around all the drivers and it's going to test all my language skills, but there we go. David Tonizza, 4th on the grid. Crucially, he's 11 points ahead of Freddy Rasmussen in the championship, and he starts 1 place ahead.
It will be important to start, because here in Monza, easy to have some trouble, easy to get incidents or to have some trouble on your front wing right at the first chicane. So it will be extremely important to start in the first lap for them.
This is the man who, once again, is on pole position. Daniel Beresney, the Hungarian from Budapest, and he is going to be starting at the front of the grid. Just how tricky is that run down to the Rettifilo? And specifically, it's such a slow corner at the start.
It's not actually that long a run.
Right.
So what caught out Beresney in Spa was the huge run out of La Source. There's a bit of a run through Curva Grande in the second chicane, but it's not quite as bad to start on pole here. If someone could break that slipstream, quid's in for the race, because otherwise we could see 20 cars all in for the race on the last lap.
Yeah, the slipstream's going to be so crucial here, Davide, isn't it? We already saw it in Spa and the sort of tactics of how you're using it.
Yeah, and important to be clever and calm during the race for the driver, because, you know, made the difference the timing of the overtake, the attacking of the defense. I mean, Rasmussen, the last race was good, but was not perfect. Beresney was just a little better in timing and in the details. So it's the key to have a good race in Monza, where the head is very important.
I'm not joking here. How calm were you when you were driving? Like, were you able to keep calm? Because you're not a calm person, you know?
He wasn't calm. He was definitely not calm.
Jolien tells a story where you went to the stewards together or something.
I went to the stewards with you one time, actually, in Hockenheim.
We were friends, or no? No, not so much.
I kind of spun you round at the hairpin, so we might have been friends before, but not after.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you need to be calm. You need to be calm. You know, sometimes you get focused, you get nervous because just the pressure that you have. You need to consider they are so young. They are doing the World Cup. They are doing the maximum of the sport. So it's not so easy to maintain the rhythm of the driving. But you need to be here, very lucid at the end. When it's important, be clever and smart to do the right move at the right time, and brings you the victory.
Yeah, absolutely. So Daniel Beresney is going to be starting on pole position for this race in Monza. Brendan Lee alongside him on the front row of the grid. Those two teammates at the Mercedes team last year. Then it's Nicolas Longuet in 3rd place, David Tonizza 4th, Freddy Rasmussen in 5th. How much, if you're David Tonizza with Freddy Rasmussen behind you, how much are you paying attention to him specifically in your championship fight? Because it is kind of a two-horse race up at the front now. They are 21 points clear of Jarno Opmeer in third.
Yeah, that Opmeer is the third, is the small horse.
Yeah.
Is the little horse with the two big horses. So if they wipe each other out and Opmeer suddenly collects a load more points, then, you know, it doesn't look so clever. So they've got to focus on each race, try and win. Tonitsa starts fourth. He's got every chance to win this race. It's going to be really, really open. Could be an absolute thriller. And the same for Rasmussen starting fifth. If they can just pass a car or two at the start, that would really help, because turn one, there's a bit of chaos sometimes kicks off. With that run, it pinces down into the chicane, really low speed. Oh, it's a recipe for a thriller.
And it's not easy sometimes leading the championship, because you have the extra pressure of you need to deliver the result, all the eyes are on me, and so you feel it. Sometimes, you know, it's better when you are just behind and you need to recover, because you have the aggression and the focus on the aim in front of you. And probably the aim tonight is Tonitsa for Rasmussen, so will be just easier for him because he starts right beside him. And every time in your mind you have, I need to attack him, I need to attack him, I need to attack him. And it's easier to have the thinking of, I need to defend the position. Sometimes it's not.
How long did you lead the championship for in GP2? Like, did you lead it all season, so you had that pressure all year, or you came into the lead sort of right at the end?
No, I was leading, and then I lost the leadership. Then I was leading again just at the end. So, you know, sometimes when it was mid of the season, I was leading the championship. I was not delivered so well like at the beginning. And also this man beside me won the same championship, but he was leading the championship from the beginning to the end with no pressure. So sometimes we deliver in a different way.
Okay, so we're having a little bit of trouble with the game at the moment. We're hoping to get it underway before too long, but let's go down to Rosanna Tennant, who's hanging out with Marcel Keeper. Rosanna.
Thanks, Jack. Yeah, Marcel, what are you expecting from this race when we get the system going? Sport Pezzo Racing stand a good chance around this track?
Definitely. I mean, especially Dani, it's his home track, so he's fired up, and I think we can definitely do a good job. But our aim is always just to do the best. We don't know what will happen. We already saw in Spa and in Germany that there's a lot of carnage going on and chaos, so yeah, we're just trying to keep our nose clean and do the best job that we can do.
And is this a circuit that you like racing on?
Yes, but the slipstream is quite strong, which I don't really like.
So choosing not to race here, so it's putting two different members of the team up to take on the Monza circuit.
Yes, I'm also excited for Lucas and really happy that he gets this chance, because he definitely deserves it. He has a lot of pace and raw potential, and yeah, can't wait to see them.
And what are you making of the competition so far this series?
Slow. No, just kidding. I mean, all of them are incredible. All of the drivers deserve to be here. And we could see, I think, pole and P10 was separated by 2/10, which is incredible considering in real Formula One this wouldn't happen. So yeah, I think everyone is really good.
Well, exciting. It's time to go racing.
It's 7/10 of a second, or 6/10 of a second, from Daniel Berejne on pole down to Gianfranco Giglioli down in 20th position. Astonishing scenes, and incredibly close. You can see the drivers there all lined up and pretty much ready to go. Wonderful arena here at Gfinity. You can see them all in their custom rigs, getting ready to start this race at Monza. Daniel Berejne on pole position, but that's David Tonitsa, the man on pole. That is the man in fourth in the championship, leading the title race. Fourth on the grid, leading the title race. There we go. That's clear for you, isn't it? Jarno Opmeer closest towards us there for the Renault team. He's starting down in 10th place on the grid, so he is the sort of third horse in this race, some 20 points behind the opposition, and he's starting down in 10th, which is going to be tricky. But we are into the start of the race procedure. Daniel Berejne in the Alfa Romeo will be on pole position. Everybody joining the lobby now, and once they're all together, the race will be getting underway. Brendan Lee alongside him on the front row of the grid.
Let me say quickly that the pole positioning is on the outside line, important for the first break, because you are on pole, you should be on the right. No.
So Berejne on pole, Lee alongside him. We're racing in Monza. Looked like quite a bit of wheel spin for Brendan Lee. Very good getaway for Nicholas Longway as they come down towards turn one. And indeed, Lee is dropping back a little bit, and he's wheel to wheel with David Tonitsa into the braking zone. Berejne leads, Longway second, Third is Brendan Lee, but he might get pushed onto the grass. Just about keeps it together. David Tonitza up into third place then. Round the outside of Curva Grande. That'll give him the inside line for the Della Roggia chicane. But Daniel Beresne has held the lead of the race. Bono Huis trying to follow through on the inside of Brendan Lee as well. Doesn't quite manage to do it. So the top 5 safely through. David Tonitza from 4th up into 3rd. Brendan Lee from 2nd down to 4th. Halfway around the first lap, Daniel Beresne out in front.
I think that Brendan Lee suffered a lot the medium compound. He has a lot of wheel spin at the start, and he was not very quick in the exit of the first chicane. So he suffered a lot the softer compound of the others. But look, Longo, the second one is just perfect with the same compound of tires, medium. So he's racing very well.
Super close for the race lead. Coming into the parabolic, if he can just stay tight here, this is going to be the critical corner because it leads on to the main straight, the longest straight on this track, and there'll be DRS when that's available as well. But even without DRS, he might fancy a bit of a go here at Daniel Beresne.
Racing in Monza since the early 1920s, and now in F1 Esports, down towards the Rettifilo chicane. Longue pulls out, but he's not close enough to make a move. Bono Huis ahead of Brendan Lee in 4th position, Lee in 5th, Bonito 6th, Patrick Holtzman and Freddie Rasmussen into the pits. So Frederick Rasmussen into the pits at the end of lap 1. He's obviously picked up some damage, and that could be massive for the championship. And that is so unfortunate for Rasmussen. Beresne and Longue battling it out for the lead of the race.
Probably decide immediately to change and to swap the compound, going on the softer one that seems probably to deliver better. I don't know. I don't know if he had a contact or it's just a personal choice.
The tyre degradation's very, very low in Monza because there's only 6 proper corners. 2 chicanes, 2 Lesmos, Ascari and Parabolica, and a load of straight lines. You don't need the tyres to drive in a straight line. You don't need the performance of the tyres to drive in a straight line. You can do with them on the car.
It's good to be clear.
Yeah. But, yeah, maybe a tactical choice just to get out of the chaos that might be about to ensue when we get some DRS.
So lap 2 of 13 coming around the Parabolica to start lap 3 of 13, and Daniel Beresne is the man in the lead in the Alfa Romeo. But Longue is right with him, only half a second behind, and he sets the fastest lap of the race as they come across the line. David Tonitza still there in 3rd position. The Ferrari at Monza lying in 3rd place. Enzo Benitez up into 5th. Brendan Lee has pitted as well. From the medium compounded tyre, he loses out there to Cem Bollock Bassi in the Toro Rosso. So Lee has decided to pit very early as well. Maybe these are strategic choices from the front runners, although Freddie Rasmussen started on the softs.
Lee started on the mediums, went straight for the soft, so maybe the soft's just that much better, and Lee decides he doesn't really want to be racing on them at all, so get off them as soon as possible. Again, the degradation pretty low. We saw already in the last race the soft tyre could go on pretty well. Tonitza didn't struggle too much at the end, and I think that might be what's going on there.
That little beep you just heard tells Nicolas Longue he can open up the flap in the rear wing into the Ascari chicane. He's got the DRS as he comes out now down towards the Parabolica. David Tonitza struggling to stay with them at the moment. He's there or thereabouts, but Longue's a little closer to Beresne than Tonitza is to Longue. Then it's the 2 McLarens running 4th and 5th. Bono Huis ahead of Enzo Benito. Another man having his home race, Enzo Benito, the 24-year-old Italian coming out across the start-finish line. Longue 0.3 of a second behind, 0.2 of a second behind. He's got the DRS.
He's going to try. He's going to try. How is it possible that this man is so good in this first race? He just came to the Esport series and he's so good. I mean, he has something special for sure. And now it's important to take Limstream and try the attack on La Roggia, the second chicane, but will be not easy because he's on the left of the break. Check it out if it's close enough. Let me know.
Not this time, as they come on to the left-right at Della Roggia. Still David Tonitza's coming with them. Bono Huis 4th, Enzo Benito 5th. The first of the medium runners is Tino Nakarinen in the Williams. He's in 6th position, the Finnish driver, against the Italian Daniele Haddad in 7th. Saltunk, Price and Blakely completing the top 10. Nice to see Isaac Price and Lucas Blakely out racing. Haven't had a huge amount of race time so far this season. We're on lap 4 of 13. Look how close the Red Bull is. Longue in particular in the bottom left looks so strong coming into Ascari.
He's really, really close there. Now he's just got to stay tight at Parabolica. Again, the crucial corner. that will lead him onto the straight, and the best overtaking place, surely this time he's going to be close enough. But Tonitza just behind him is going to be in with a real chance as well when they can open up the DRS at the exit of this corner. Really, really tight there. That looked good. Picks up the slipstream.
Close.
There goes the DRS there.
And Tonitza's in there as well, as you say. There goes the Red Bull to the inside. Berezhny holds his line, and he's going to get done here by 2 cars. Tonitza takes advantage and slots into second position. Daniel Berezhny loses 2 places. Now, he was battling with a Red Bull for the lead last time out in Spa. It's a different driver this time, but is Berezhny playing the same game? Here they come down towards the second chicane. Is Tonitza going to go for it here? He is not, as they come into the left and the right at Della Roggia. Longue went in a little bit deep, but Tonitza can't take advantage going into Lesmo 1. So Longue in the lead, Tonitza second, Berezhny third.
But Berezhny needn't panic, because that's about to happen for the next time. I'd say third place. He's still in that leading gaggle. Look how close the 3 of them are. They've got a good second and a half to Bono Huis, who's not quite able to get in the gaggle. That means the 3 of them are breaking clear. And now it's going to be Longue that's under big pressure from Tonitza and Berezhny over the line. They're going to keep swapping places because of the nature of this track.
Out they come then onto the back straight down towards the Parabolica. Tonitza might even have a little look through before they get to the Parabolica. Such is the strength of the slipstream there. No DRS needed for Tonitza to pass and get into the lead of the race. But for how much longer? Because here comes Longue back at him, and into the pits comes Tonitza. Longue had to take pretty evasive action there. Tonitza is the first to pit in the Ferrari.
Was a good idea from Longue have let Tonitza pass and using the DRS, but I think that Tonitza was even clever because he just pit in front of them and didn't give to the other the advantage of the using of the DRS. So well done for Tonitza, that is doing everything perfectly. He's Italian and is racing very well in Italy, Monza.
Tonitza pits, Bonito pits as well. Brendan Lee now up into 8th place. Where does he emerge compared to David Tonitza? That's going to be quite interesting. I think he's in 7th place, isn't he? Behind David Tonitza, only 2 seconds off Tonitza. So it still seems an odd strategy at the moment on the face of it by Brendan Lee, but he is up into sort of second position at the moment, although they won't be once Longue and Berezhny come into the pits, but he might have leapfrogged the McLarens. Here come the 2 leaders, Longue out in front. Berezhny doesn't seem to quite have the pace to stay as close with him as the leaders have been previously.
Longue had DRS on the last lap because he let Tonitza through, of course.
Yeah.
This time he won't have DRS, and Berezhny is going to be right on him, just half a second. But will they both dive for the pits, having seen Tonitza go?
Longue! No.
Little dummy! Little dummy!
Cheeky!
For a debutant, he's got a bit of nerve, hasn't he, Longue out front?
Well, but we need to understand him. I mean, it's his first race. He's leading the race in Monza. You can understand at the level how high he's here. He's top in the world. I mean, he's doing everything perfectly, Nicolas Longue, and he's just surprising me.
He's a clever guy, I think. He's really worked this all out. Not only is he very quick on his debut, but letting Tonitza through into Parabolica meant he had the DRS. Then he does a little dummy to the pit lane, try and get Berezhny to pit in instead. He's smart. He's not really racing like a rookie.
And you sort of wonder, why isn't this guy, why hasn't he been racing for Red Bull? Well, Freddie Rasmussen and Joni Tormela have had such a strong season. Red Bull are leading the team standings after the 8 rounds so far. They are 22 points ahead of Renault, so Red Bull don't want to change up the team that's leading the championship to bring Longue in. They have now, and it's paying dividends, but it's not as though Tormela and Rasmussen have struggled.
When you talk about Freddie Rasmussen, though, he's struggling in this race big time. That lap 1 pit stop, but now he's just played down in the midfield. He could be in trouble here because Tonitza is in 3rd place and he's already made his pit stop.
Probably you were right, in the first part of the race, probably in the first lap, Rasmussen had the contact because immediately pit and probably he had some damage on his car.
So the race leaders in, Longue and Berezhny. Where are they going to come out with regards to David Tonitza in the Ferrari? Here comes Tonitza through the final corner at the Parabolica. Out onto the start-finish straight again, where the old banking rejoins the road circuit. And Tonitza comes blasting down the start-finish straight. Where are his rivals going to be? The answer is in front for the moment, but Tonitza's coming at some 210 miles an hour. He's going to get squeezed out here, and he slots into 3rd place. Longue leads, Berezhny second. Berezhny not super neat through the first chicane. Could give Tonitsa an advantage. They're all on the medium tyre. Brendan Lee, after that seemingly odd early pit stop, is now up into 4th place on the soft compound of tyres. So we'll see what pace Lee has on lap 8 of 13. Longue, Berezny, Tonitsa the top 3.
Look at that lead gap, 1.1 seconds. It's just flashed down to 0.8 as I say that, because Berezny's been very quick in that second chicane. But it was right on the cusp of not getting the DRS, which would be huge if Longue could just break that. I don't think he has, though, because Berezny's knuckled down on this outlap and he's closing in again. So all 3 of them going to be very tight, because second and third are going to have the DRS.
Luis and Lee and now Karinen have done good job strategy-wise. This is Brendan Lee with his concentration, his trademark look, as he comes down towards Parabolica. Under a bit of pressure here from Tino Nakarinen, but he's running up in 4th place, which I think would be his best result of the season, Brendan Lee. 5th in... no, sorry, he was 2nd in Montreal. 2nd in Montreal. So it would be his 2nd best result of the season if he held on the 4th. Tino Nakarinen's coming at him. Longue in the lead, meanwhile, on lap 9 of 13, hasn't managed to break the DRS, and Berezny and Tonitsa are right with him.
I'm very interested to check it out how he's going to finish, because Berezny is the magical man of the last lap, and when it comes to the last lap, Berezny has this strength to just win the race, and Longue will be interested to check it out if he can maintain this pressure and manage this pressure and take this victory. Will be not easy at all for him, not easy at all.
Berezny won the last race on the last lap, as you say, but I just feel like Longue's... He's got a bit of nous. He's got a bit of racing nous to deal with this. And, of course, he's watched the earlier race as well. So he might know what Berezny's thinking. Just stay tucked in a typical Valentino Rossi style that he used to do in MotoGP. Wait until the last lap to pounce. But let's wait and see. I think the 2 of them are going to be joined by Tonitsa as well, so they can't just focus on each other.
The layout at La Source in terms of DRS detection at Spa is slightly different to here, right? So we're not going to see kind of exactly the same manoeuvre.
Well, we had it a bit early on because the detection's just before Parabolica, so you might get that. And I think earlier on, when Tonitsa passed Longue, I think Longue might have just eased off to let him through into the final corner. That's going to be the penultimate lap. We've got another couple to go before. It's a bold one, because do you want to just give up the lead?
Did you saw it? The Berezny is breaking a bit on the straight just to not have the attack. It was clever. This man he has something special, because he was just behind. He was close enough to try the attack, and he was holding a bit the brake just to not have the extra speed.
Super smart stuff. I thought when he was this close, I thought he's going to open the DRS and fly by, but he's not. And it's because he's just holding back. He doesn't want to pass. He wants to just sit in second.
But he's got David Tonitsa behind him.
Yeah, soon Tonitsa's going to want that 2nd place as well. So without Tonitsa there, this tactic's looking great for Berezny. With Tonitsa there, he might have to just pass Longue, otherwise he's going to be passed, and you don't want to be 3rd onto the last lap. You'd rather be 1st maybe than 3rd.
Lap 10 of 13.
Okay, you're in the top
Daniel Berezny chasing Longue, playing the long game.
Very good.
Thank you. We're on board with Tonitsa in 3rd.
And we need to remember that Tonitsa doesn't want to risk anything, because, you know, he's 3rd at the moment in the race, while Rasmussen is suffering behind. He's leading the championship. Look at Rasmussen, where is he? He's 16th at the moment, so I don't think that Tonitsa is going to risk his life at the end just to win this race.
Here they come to start lap 11 of 13. They're very, very close, just half a second between the top 3. Longue leads. Berezny has to go for it this time. Tonitsa comes with him in the Ferrari. Oh, a little bit of a move across under braking from Longue. That was very tight. He's just about managed to hold on to that 2nd place, but that was a real close one under braking.
And look behind, because Nakarinen's within a 2nd, Lee's within a 2nd, they're all within a 2nd. So they've all been playing a bit of cat and mouse at the front, backing each other up a little bit on the brakes on the straight, not wanting to take the lead until now for Berezny. But suddenly, that 3-car race is almost about an 8-car race.
It's feeling like 1971 all over again.
Magic.
Lap 11 of 13. Was it 71? I think it was 71.
I went with you on that.
Peter Gethin? Anyway.
I don't know that here, but now Karinen is flying. Check it out, he's 4/10 of a second just behind the Tonitsa. I mean, this man is good enough to try the victory. Usually, we don't see now Karinen there in the top 3 position. Today, he's strong enough also for take the victory.
Soft tyres for Nakarinen, and that's what's giving him a good pace advantage as well. So the top 3 are still duking it out for position. But there's now a fourth car in the race, and the fourth car is probably the quickest of the lot on those soft tyres.
So we're about to start the penultimate lap of the race, lap 12 of 13. This is one of those you just wish had a couple more laps in it as they come across the line. Berezhny leading, Longuet behind him in the slipstream, not super close. Now Karinen's in there as well. Does Tonitza send it? Longuet goes in round the outside, almost on the grass as they got onto the brakes into the first corner. Davide, are you okay?
No, I don't know, but he opened the line a bit too extreme. From my point of view, was a bit too aggressive. I don't know. What do you think, Palmer? But that was... Palmer, you don't have to do it, eh?
What do you think, Palmer?
I think Davide's on the cusp of a seizure, but apart from that, it was really dubious racing out front. They were really risking it, having that little touch, and they got away with it somehow. We don't want to see this one end in tears because they've been racing so well, and I mean, that one was really, really tight, but for me, race on. Still within a second, one more lap to go. DRS open, they're going to close up again.
4 for the lead, coming down to the Ascari chicane for the penultimate time. One more run going down into the Rettifilio chicane. We're on board with Tino Nakarinen, the Finnish driver, running in 4th place on the soft tyre, closing in on David Tonitza in front of him. Onto the brakes, into Parabolica. Nakarinen, I think at this point, realises that 3rd is about all he can manage. It's going to be that Longuet versus Berezhny battle for the lead, coming down into turn 1.
Longuet is doing it.
He's closing in. He's looking to the inside, coming down to the first corner. Berezhny holds his line. Tonitza goes in a bit deep. And this is... Now Karinen's got a grandstand view of all of this. I think Berezhny might just about have enough. It'll all come down to this Della Roggia chicane, potentially. Here they come. A little look to the inside from the Red Bull. He's a bit too far back. Longuet just a little too far back. Tonitza 3rd, now Karinenen 4th still.
I'm amazed Berezhny's held on with the DRS. I thought that would be too powerful over the line to start that last lap. Not the case right now. And Longuet's about to add DRS again for the second time, but Berezhny's pretty quick through those Lesmos, and he's just extended slightly. Here we go, DRS open down to Ascari. 2 real corners to go.
He was a little slow coming out of Lesmo 2 there, Longuet. And as a result, David Tonitza is right behind him as they come into Ascari for the final time. One last overtaking opportunity at the Parabolica. Who's going to be close enough to do it? Tonitza's closing in on the Red Bull, but Berezhny should be able to hang on down through the Parabolica for the final time. Lap 13 of 13. It's Daniel Berezhny who is the winner in Monza. Another win in the F1 Esports Pro Series for Daniel Berezhny. Wonderful drive once again. 2 wins in a row, and after a very difficult start to the year, Berezhny is back.
He knows how to do it. At the last lap, he's the man. I mean, he's calm. He's just so quick. At the end, he's the strongest one.
So Daniel Berezhny takes the victory. A fantastic race in Monza. We had 4 cars for the win, and we'll have all the reaction from that fantastic race when we come back in a couple of minutes' time.
I was thinking about the next question.
My first computer game I ever played is Gran Turismo 2 when I was 3 years old.
GP2. I was so young and I played with the keyboard, so more or less I was playing with that one.
F1 2002 on PS2.
F1 22 on the PlayStation 2. That's the first game I played actually.
Favorite track is probably either Singapore, USA. Those are probably my favorite ones.
Paul Ricard in France. It's really fun to drive, have a nice rhythm.
And my favorite track to race on is actually Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. Brazil, 100%.
My favorite corner is the Esso do Senna.
Mega Decats in Silverstone are the most interesting one because if you miss the line in the first 2 corners, it will be really, really tough to go and have a at the end.
Don't have one. Turn 11 Melbourne.
Silverstone, that's the best track.
My worst track, I think is Shanghai.
Singapore.
Brazil. for me, it's quite weird track.
At Spa, I'm not a big fan of it.
Bahrain, to be honest.
Maybe China.
All right then, our last race of event 3 of the F1 Esports New Balance Pro Series 2019, and it went down to Monza, the first ever time at Monza. We'd heard all the stories, what the driver should do, from Mick Schumacher, from Jolyon, and from, of course, Mr. Matt Gallagher. He just couldn't pick a winner. Well, the winner was the one and only Mr. Daniel Beresny, and he joins us right now. Listen, Dan, congratulations. First of all, I want to take you back, before we get to the win, where's your head been at from not quite doing what we expected of you in this series to now getting 2 back-to-back wins? What's it been like? What's the process to come here today and get 2 wins out of 3?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for the congratulations. I don't think I had many issues with my head, but we had many issues as a team. Didn't prepare maybe enough to do slipstreaming, had equipment issues, didn't really discover what can happen in this series. But now, in the 3rd event, I think we are more experienced and can use our full potential to go ahead. And today, I think I clearly managed to show that 2 victories and a P4 result for me is absolutely amazing. If somebody gives me a paper, I sign it for the next event as well.
Of course.
Yeah, it was an awesome race on 2 tracks, which is very strategical. You have to drive very smart, because anytime you are first in the last lap, the slipstream and the DRS is extremely powerful, like I showed it in Spa. But luckily, I had a few tenths advantage over Nicolas Langet, and I could fend him off even if I was the guy this time ahead in the last lap.
Yeah, indeed. And Alfa Romeo Racing, they believed in you. They snatched you from Mercedes and said, we want to make this guy our man. Have you felt that sort of support from the team? And you said that you've been working on things as a team. And are you enjoying being at Alfa Romeo Racing?
Yeah, I really enjoy being at Alfa Romeo Racing. The guys who I work with, I have been knowing them for many years now. And I actually started my esports career with them. And I feel like at home, I feel trusted, and I also trust them. And I'm really happy that they believe in me, because this is a huge opportunity for me to work in Formula 1. That's the dream for most of us.
Indeed. Listen, Jolyon, Matt, get your questions ready. Dan, you stick around for a second, because we're going to go to Rosanna, because she's with Nicolas Langet, who was making his debut tonight.
Nicolas, how was your first race in the series?
It was very good, actually. I'm happy to be in the podium. I didn't really expect to get a podium first race, but kind of mixed feelings, to be honest. I think I could have gone for the win if I didn't break the wing. But P2 is still really good points for the Red Bull team, so we're still gaining on our rivals. So that's a good night overall.
And are we going to see you back in the rig soon?
Hopefully.
Well done. What a great race.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations, Nicolas Langet. Picked up in the draft this year, giving the thumbs up beforehand, before the race, while we wait in with technical issues. Daniel was smiling. Overall, Matt, Jolyon, what did you make of that race that we had just watched in Monza?
It was an intriguing one. I'm interested to know from you, Danny. Was your strategy that you wanted to be first the whole time? Because I guess that was changed, because it wasn't just 2 of you. You had Tunitsa as well. Did that just kind of throw the cat amongst the pigeons a bit?
Yeah, the strategy was pretty interesting, because we can never practice with others, as everybody hides his space. So we are usually 2 or 3 on the track as a team, and we can't always discover which strategy is good in the traffic, because we don't care about race time, we care about position and traffic. And 20 minutes before the race, I thought I will start on mediums, pit lap 3, just like Brandon did, and have an amazing end of the race. But then before the race, I'm like, why the hell did I get the pole position if I just want to give it up with the slower tires? I tried to pull away, I tried to keep control, and I did that indeed with Nicolas. We made the overcut work as well. We had quite a good tire management, so I'm very happy that it worked out in this way.
You're used to racing, obviously, Brendan and Freddie Rasmussen as well, but this is Langet's debut, and suddenly you're racing with him. Is it different not knowing how he's going to race?
To be honest, we are all a big family, a community in Formula 1, and I know Nicolas Langet for quite a few times because we've been doing league racing together. But of course, when you stand into a Gfinity arena and the esports scenes is always different. In my first races, I was very stressed, and I think my driving style changed because of that. So it's always a bit of mystery, but obviously I just try to be clean, but not too clean with anyone. Be within the rules, be respectful to all the drivers, but try to keep my position as well.
Yeah, well, listen, congratulations. Once again, let's give it up for Daniel Berezny. Fantastic showing in event 3 today. I'm going to give you a little handshake as well. Why not? Listen, there you go. The drivers still have 3 races to go, and you've got until the 19th of November to qualify for the 2020 Pro Draft. To get involved, just load up F1 2019, head to the F1 Esports zone to enter, and you could win an all-expenses-paid trip for you and a guest to the 2020 Australian Grand Prix. Head to f1esports.com for more information. That is just about it from us this evening. 9 races down and just 3 to go. Make sure you join us back here. Get it in the diary, December the 4th, when we will find out who will be crowned New Balance F1 Pro Series champion for 2019. Now, there is just time for me to say a final thank you very much to Jack, to Davide, to Rosanna, to Matt, to Jolien, but most of all, thank you very much for joining us. And to this crowd as well, give you a massive round of applause. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next time. Good night.
All 5 lights are on, and we're racing in Germany. Tenitza up on the inside of both of them. Here comes Otmir.
Perfect strategy executed.
We're racing in Spa. Oh, check it out! And it's Daniel Berezny who's going to take the win. We're racing in Monza. Berezny has to go for it this time. Does Tenitza send it? It's Daniel Berezny who is the winner in Monza.
there you are. Welcome along to the Gfinity Arena, where we are currently getting ready for the third instalment of the F1 Esports New Balance Pro Series 2019. Now, we've reached the midway point, and currently David Tunitsa leads the pack. Having said that, though, there are still 6 races remaining, which means it's all still to play for. Here we go, then.
Who's going to get the best start? Gonzilla is back, and he takes victory in Austria.
Cedric Tome takes the win.
Here comes Marcel Keeper. He wins in the F1 Esports Pro Series.
This series is not a one-horse race by any stretch of the imagination. Well, there you go. How about that? 3 more races this evening, and alongside me, I am so glad to say that I'm joined by the one and only Mr. Matt Gallagher and the one and only Mr. Julian Palmer. Gentlemen, let's get right to it. How are we both feeling about tonight? Matt, midway point, what does that mean to you?
Well, it means there's 6 races to go. I'm very excited. F1 Esports back again. It's close in the championship. You've got Tunitsa and Rasmussen at the top, kind of very much fighting for that #1 spot. But we've still got 6 races to go. Anything can happen. We've seen with Marcel Keeper, for example, you know, he won at Silverstone. There are drivers out there that can challenge.
Yeah, indeed. Now, Jolien, 3 more races tonight. Monza, never been in the Pro Series before in terms of it being raced. Is it as exciting as people say?
Yes, basically. It's quite a simple circuit on the face of it. 6 proper corners, loads of long straights. But honestly, the way that they've been racing around some of the other circuits, it's so close, whatever. You stick them all on Monza, where you can't break away even in Formula 1, really. It's going to be a thriller. Yeah, and as Matt said, I mean, obviously, everybody is raising their game now. Marcel Keeper winning at Silverstone. This means anybody could win tonight, potentially. Yeah, they're all so close. The qualifying times, it's hundredths separating most of them and just tenths separating the entire field. So, yeah, anyone can win. It's all up to people doing a good job on the day. Indeed. Now, Matt, not to put you on the spot, there's been a thing going on. David Tunitsa had a little bit of a mascot going on. Everyone's bringing their mascots in. Well, what is this? Have you brought yours in tonight?
No, I don't think so. But yeah, it seems like a lucky charm. You know, I guess some of these guys think that it might help them, give them that extra tenth. Maybe it feels like they're at home if they have their toys with them. But it's an odd...
It does seem that way. It does seem that. No, the reason I asked is because, listen, guys, I'll ask you to look out for them tonight. Let's get you up to speed. Here's something I rustled up a little bit earlier on. Here's a quick reminder of the standings at the halfway stage of the 2019 Pro Series. All right, then, with 3 wins already this season, David Tunitsa is out in front with 104 points, followed by Red Bull's Freddie Rasmussen on 92. Despite his win at Silverstone, Marcel Keeper has been leapfrogged by Mr. Consistent, Jarno Opmeer, who moves up to 3rd. His Renault teammate, Cedric Tome, is in 6th, courtesy of his maiden win in Canada, with Brendan Lee, who picked up his first podium at the circuit, Gilles Villeneuve, lying in 5th. In the team standings, it's tight at the top with just 8 points separating the top 3. Red Bull have moved ahead of Ferrari Driver Academy, who lie a close 2nd, and Renault Vitality just 3 points behind in 3rd. So there you go then. That brings everybody up to speed. Now, Jolien, tonight you'll be casting and back and forth. You're going to be racing. You're going to be all right with that? Maybe not. If we're doing Monza, there's going to be so much talking. Yeah. Too much action, maybe. Too much action. Maybe some toys being thrown out of their rigs tonight, as Matt said earlier on. Let's talk about Rasmussen and that Renault Vitality. The word I'm going to use for that is consistency. They have been incredibly consistent.
Yeah, and it's incredibly tight at the top for the constructors, which is where the money is made. And it'll be interesting to see how they sort of have their strategy in the next 6 races. Do they give a driver a certain job of practicing for Monza, for example? We've seen that before in the races gone by. Or do we keep with the consistency that the points that have already been scored by the drivers in the last 6? I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I think it'll be a mix-up. We might see some new faces in this second half. Yeah, and Renault, there was that gifting of a race that they crossed the line. When we're talking colouring in, if you go over the line, it's a no-no. It's the same for F1. Looking back at this highlight here, Jolien, we talked about it in Event 2. A little bit of rain in the air, but just going over that line, schoolboy rookie errors being made. Yeah, well, you say rookie errors. It's so close, though, this one, and it cost Freddie Rasmussen the win in championship contention for Red Bull as well. That's not great. It gifted it to Renault. And small mistakes like that can have big consequences, especially when the field's so tight. Yeah, small margins are there to be gained. David Tunitsa, out of nowhere in the draft this year, Ferrari picked him up. He's been lights out. He's been fantastic. He's been fantastic, as you say. You know, he wins straight out the block Although the pack are catching him, and we've seen that in the championship standings. You've got Rasmussen very close as well, but he's very much got a huge amount of points on the board already, and he is very much the one.
Yeah, just watching him win in Austria, and he's just cool. And there's the toy. We've seen the first toy of this evening. That's Matt Gallagher's words, not mine. I've been calling it a mascot. But nevertheless, we move on to Marcel Keeper. That win at Silverstone, you've already touched on it. It gives everybody a boost, and him in particular, you know you've got the ability, and now to get that first win under your belt, you know, you can go on and potentially sort of challenge for the title.
You'd hope there's some way to go because the top two have broken away a little bit, Rasmussen and Tunitsa, but it's confidence inspiring, definitely. You get the first win, the monkey off your back, you can go and charge, you know you can do it, so why not do it every race, basically? That's a tough ask, but at least regularly challenging. OK, perfect. Gentlemen, stick around, because after claiming his maiden win in the Pro Series at Silverstone, Marcel Keeper boasted here on this very stage of his relentless training schedule. Still, even the most dedicated drivers need a break every now and then. We join Marcel as he let someone else do the driving whilst he took in the sights of London.
If you want to achieve greatness, you just have to sacrifice in some areas. I see myself as my limit. I don't need anyone to kind of prove a point. I'm always giving 100%, and if not, then it's my fault. Racing was always my passion, and after I finished my A-levels, I started just saving money to do like one season of self-founded karting. But then Esports got announced, and I was like, okay, maybe I can get some sponsors even through Esport by showing what I can get. And then I bought a steering wheel, and I actually qualified for the top 40 in 2017, and since then this journey started. My dad kind of got me into this. He's just a petrol head. So it was from the beginning kind of gaming and racing, and nowadays it's just combined for me. I mean, with racing games, they are so close to reality that there's even like a crossover opportunity maybe in the future, which is extremely cool. It would be a cool crossover, being like a hybrid form of both, like being an esports driver and a real driver, making like a completely new athlete, esports and real athlete at the same time, and not just one. It's really nice. Can't imagine how they build all of these kind of things back then. Last year, I just wasn't on it. Probably just my fault not extracting everything that I could. This year, I have far more experience compared to last year, so it's a bit easier to just go into these events and know what I have to do. I feel like you can clearly see that the field is much closer and it's much more competitive. And overall, everyone is taking it a bit more seriously compared to the years before.
Here comes Marcel Keeper. He wins in the F1 Esports Pro Series. Wonderful drive from Marcel Keeper.
It was obviously cool having the first win off the chest and everything. It won't change my approach. I still believed already before I won that I'm a winner and that I'm the best. But I don't think it has changed me in the approach or anything that I'm taking it. I still believe that everyone is really, really close and everyone has the raw talent to do it. I think that I'm better than anyone else, but that's just, if I wouldn't approach it that way, then I shouldn't be in this competition or in any kind of competition.
Love that. Proper day out in London, travelling around. It's not cheap, that, so that's a good day out for Marcel. Listen, Matt, in that race at Silverstone, it was incredible. It came down pretty much to an overtake that got him that win, but he's done enough to prove that he shouldn't be forgotten about.
He had a fantastic race at Silverstone, and we can see that race-winning move going into Stowe Corner. He had the pace, he noticed that, was up there in the front sort of 3 or 4. He qualified well as well, which is very important in this 25% F1 Esports series, and then took the victory. It was very much a case of no nerves, I'll have the 25 points, and he was very happy with that.
Yeah, he said, Jolien, he's not going to... That wins... He's not going to let it get to him but I've noticed a bit of a swagger as he's been walking around. He did mention, though, it's not going to change his approach. Should he change his approach, or is that the right thing to do?
Well, don't change it if you're winning. That's the main thing. He's been up there for quite a while and finally gets that win. Cold hard killer. Keep doing it again. Just if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, and he mentioned that he wants to be a hybrid driver, or that's how he's approaching this, so that potentially moving from F1 Esports Sim to actual racing, what qualities can he take from this to head into that sort of field?
Well, firstly, they're driving a car, although it's on a game. Yeah. They're still driving a car, so he's still on the racing line, still on all the basics. But mainly the psychological aspects. The level of competition is so high here. Going into actual racing on a track, that level of digging deep and trying to do everything you can to beat the competition will probably stand him in pretty good stead. Yeah, and Matt, obviously, his home track, Hockenheim, he should be, the pressure's on him. You know, this is your home advantage. You know it better than any other, right?
I think he'll be OK. But Hockenheim is a very short track, so it will be very close in qualifying, I expect, and in the race. There should be a lot of slipstream, a lot of overtakes, and I'm very excited. OK, Matt, guess what? One of us has to... Actually, no, it's Jolien. Jolien, you have to leave now. It's just going to be me and Matt. Off you go, because Jolien is heading into the casting area. Let's look at the grid and how they stand going into this race. So, Matt, what do they have to do to progress at Hockenheim? Joni Tommler back. He did so well last year, and there he is second. Yeah, great front row for Joni Tommler. Jarno Opmeer, what a fantastic qualifying from him. Usually you'd expect with a 109 that it would be quite a short track and therefore maybe half a tenth between the first few, but he absolutely smashed qualifying. Danny Beresnay hasn't won yet this F1 Esports Series, up in third. You've got Fredrik Rasmussen down in seventh. You don't usually see him that far down, so it'll be interesting to see how, with his calm approach, he's able to get through the field. Marcel Keeper, we just spoke about him in ninth there. How is the Hockenheim 25% of the racetrack for him to push up? Yeah, it's going to be quite difficult because they're quite closely matched in pace, but we've seen that throughout most of this series. It's going to be overtakes into the hairpin after the long straight. I think that's going to be his main opportunity. OK, all right then. Well, listen, we'll get ready for this. Well, actually, I think that's probably given Jolien enough time. He is pretty quick to get up into the casting area, so we'll go right there now for race one. Hopefully, Jolien is up there. I'll pass him over to Jolien. Davide Valsecchi back in the building, and of course, Jack Nicholls.
Yes. Thank you very much, Tom. Jolien has made it here. Thank you very much for passing him over to me. I'm very, very grateful
Quick as
for
a
that.
flash, that was.
Quick as a flash. That should be your... Hamilton has Still I Rise. Should be Jolien Palmer, quick as a flash. I like that. Hockenheim, Davide, talk to me.
Would be interesting. There's a long straight where you can make the difference, and remember, there's this hairpin where all the drivers they can try the overtakes. So very, very big breaking point there.
Yeah, we do tend to see a lot of good overtaking on this new Hockenheim.
It's very possible, yeah. There's two real sections of it. The hairpin section, as Davide said, then the stadium section, which is quite tight, twisty, easy to make mistakes as well. So you've got keeping it neat, but then a bit of a dive bomb, potentially DRS into the hairpin. Should be good.
OK, so let's have a look at this Hockenheim circuit that the guys have just been describing. You see the start-finish there, and then there's that long run all the way up towards turn 6 from detection 1 to the